I've said that my whole life. We're good. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. On the lights. Leave that on there. I want to hear my voice. This is a delay, so you can leave out any of my test words or.
That was
Are we good to go?
we're still hearing. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Everybody knows why we're here? Everybody's got this in front of them. Anybody has any questions?
No.
Does our audience have any questions?
So our
Any
renewal,
comments?
well, I was just gonna say, our insurance renewals is coming up, so we had to have a special meeting today to. And I asked Andy Schwegman from our insurance company to be here. That way, if you guys had any questions or changes to the policy this year, or what, obviously the premiums have gone up, but he's got a breakdown here on each section and the difference, price difference, so. Andy, do you have any major changes you want to share with them?
I mean, if you want, I can stand up here.
Yeah, sure.
So, I'm in the corner. Really, as you can see, the breakdown here. So this is primary policy through EMC that insures municipalities. I was actually pleasantly surprised to see property side of the premiums kind of stayed flat. I mean, they did go up 6.6%. But traditionally, over the last couple of years, especially with public entities, I've really been seeing these numbers climb higher. So that's a good thing. I think it's partly a testament is not having claims. I think that really helps. You know, they're not going to surcharge you terribly if you know you start having claims or things. So, you know, the better, the cleaner we keep this, better loss ratio. That's going to help control these. Some of this is out of our control. These companies just keep taking rate adjustments. Really, the big three of this group of coverages, and I'm happy to go through all these line for line if you want. But the liability portions, the general liability, that for the town of Brookville, 15.8% over last year. The commercial auto, 19%, and then I was surprised. I mean, it's 21%. Was the umbrella, so they must have really taken some rate on the umbrella side this year.
Now, what's that mean?
So you have your underlying layer of limits of liability. So whether it is the commercial auto, whether it is general liability, someone comes, trips, sues the town for whatever reason, you've got $1 million of underlying coverage. If that were to be exhausted, that's when your umbrella will kick in. So you have a layer of 5 million on top of that, which is a good thing. That's as high as we can go.
Okay.
So you're just further protecting the town of Brookville from any kind of litigation.
Okay.
I'm sure the lawyer would agree that you can never have enough liability. So, yeah. But that's that. So you can see that the overall difference from last year is 13.4%. So the premiums have gone up $12,000 collectively.
What does linebacker mean?
So linebacker is another way to word directors and officers liability. So
Us?
yes. So anyone that's in the position of making professional changes, recommendations for how the town should proceed with one order or another. It actually is gonna protect the town if whoever entity doesn't agree with what decision's been made to protect town. But there's also coverage for you as an individual. So it's a way to make you feel a little bit more comfortable in your position, that you're not worrying about maybe your personal assets being taken because of something you, John, did as an individual. So that's what that is. Usually you see it more listed as directors and officers liability, but EMC is always worded in linebacker coverage. So
Why did it go up so much? Any idea?
my guess is they just started looking at loss histories as a company. And that's the bad thing about insurance. We're on a bucket. So if you, the town of Brookville, hasn't had anything, why are we taking rate? Well, it's because there's been a poor loss ratio collectively in that line of business. So I don't think anyone's getting less sue happy. And I mean, I can probably get a more in depth if I talk to the carrier.
Oh, that's okay.
But
I just
in or about,
curious.
yeah, that would be my thoughts off the top of my head. It's just that it's all driven by loss history.
Now the minus 16.5 on the crime, would,
We didn't even have to have the National Guard come.
Yeah, the crime coverage, if you don't mind, that there may be a little bit of a pause, because that's one reason I didn't print off handout breakdowns. I think I shared all this with you, Gina, right?
I sent it out to them, the whole policy portion. I sent that out to them a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
I read all of it twice.
Yeah.
There'll be a quiz later.
So let me skim through here. I just want to make sure that. Tell them 100%.
I like that it went down so much, but it was our cheapest thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the commercial auto, I was kind of surprised that one jumped like it did. I've been seeing a lot of changes, carriers with that. Like I said, it's been more on the property. I've had a couple public entities where they've increased their deductibles to $75,000 at a minimum.
Well, is it commercial or auto insurance going up everywhere? Pretty much.
I've seen with personal auto, commercial auto, it just depends. I think commercial auto is kind of catching up and following the lead of personal lines coverages.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just didn't think it would be going up like it has.
Unfortunately, I have time to read articles, so I have more useless knowledge.
Crime is such a small part. I'm having trouble locating it.
Probably getting vandalized.
So typically, when you have crime coverages, it's talking about monetary type issues. Say, Gina on the bus. Gina steals money from the town or something like that. That's typically where the crime comes into play. Things like that. I don't see in here. I think crime is just kind of they split it out, but they do not tell me how they come up with this rate.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's a direct reflection of maybe overall payroll numbers they use, or how they come up with that. Just says government crime fidelity package form F01 $614. There's one little section on page 106, but it doesn't go into any worksheets how they're developing that. But I can check on that if you want, a little bit more in depth how they're coming up with that.
Any other questions?
I was just wondering about the iPad. So when at the bottom, what is our premium here? 'Cause it gives you like a total premium.
So IPEP is the workers' comp
Mhm.
portion of it, Indiana Public Employers Plan. So as you know, we have audits at the end of every policy term in arrears, because they need to look at actual numbers.
Okay.
So what I would suggest is spend some time and see how this is broken down based on payroll.
Okay.
So like your streets and road department payroll listing there. And then how the rates are developed. The rate, you see the rate column, 5.21. That is what they charge in premium for every $100 of remuneration. So for every $100 you pay in that classification.
And some are
premium's
higher depending on their job.
$5.21.
Okay.
Yeah, so some, it's, if you don't see an actual payroll, it's maybe because it's volunteer or there's an exposure, but there's no payroll assigned to it. So it won't develop a rate.
Okay.
I mean, according to this, the highest payroll for the town is under the police department. Based on these numbers.
So what is our total premium for this policy period?
Looks to me like 26,118.
Okay.
Bottom line.
I didn't know if it was the bottom or the top.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you see the total minimum premium, this would be if you were a flat base rate.
Okay.
So you see the most recent experience mod, you're running a 0.91. So based on your claims history with workers' comp. If the flat rate would say 1.00. So you've got a 0.9 experience mod discount, so to speak. So you take that factor, that's where that comes into play there. And then we also have a credit of 15%. That's just something that the agency would have asked for when it was first written.
Okay.
So yeah, so the real actual payroll, if there was no credits, our IRPMs would be that top number.
Okay. And then the cyber, I guess I should ask council if they would like to include the deductible or not based off the premium. That last page where it says CFC cyber coverage.
Yeah, this year they gave us an option. I think it starts on page 15.
I think I only printed them the premium. Yeah.
So, yeah. It wasn't if I recall, it wasn't like a huge savings.
It's not,
Like
no.
step, like
Mm-mm.
$1,200.
Maybe at most, yeah. 800 something.
I will say that as we get more and more out the internet and the exposures just keep building up, hackers, things like that. You know, and that would apply per claim.
Okay.
So,
Not
Yeah.
just,
yeah,
okay,
I would advise not taking that option. I would
Okay.
advise keeping it.
for that small amount.
Yeah.
Did anything change with our deductibles otherwise in the package policy?
So if you recall, remember, you were getting, and for whatever.
Additional
reason,
renewal
shut up
notices.
the agency, additional notices. If I recall, there was some changes on how they were requiring minimum deductibles on some of the vehicles.
Okay.
Let's just look, for example. I think based on size or what they were. If I recall, that some of that stuff you shared with me. I think they were going to like a $2,000 minimum deductible on some of the vehicles.
Okay.
Commercial auto section up there. One thing that I would like to do, because the second year that, you know, I've been executive of the agency. I know Paul had originally written this. I would, if any of you would like to kind of sit down and really kind of itemize things. Just because I want to make sure, especially on the buildings, the locations, I caught something when I was reviewing this. And I'll bring to your attention, and I'll get back to that commercial auto.
Okay.
Location. Location 17. Yes, location 17. 11090 Reservoir Road, that is the golf course, correct? You look here, the occupancy that they have listed, and I've already told them that's not correct. Who Cares Sports Bar and Grill? I don't know who, how, where, why that's ever been shown as the occupancy.
What was that?
Under location 17 on
Yeah.
page 35. It says occupancy, Who Cares Sports Bar and Grill.
Well, wouldn't that be the agency? Because we don't do stuff in
Again,
that
and that's what I'm
policy.
bringing up. That
Okay,
was something Paul somehow, some
Yeah.
way. He had Who Cares on his mind when he was, I don't know. But I've already notified them that that is the clubhouse,
yeah.
that's the golf course.
Wow,
I think
I don't
that's the
know
main.
where that came from.
building.
Marty's never been an employee. yet.
No.
Yeah. But on all these
I
buildings.
don't even think that place has existed since I've been here.
No, for years.
On all these buildings, if there's any type of loss other than wind or hail, $5,000 deductible. If it is a wind or hail loss, then there's a $10,000 deductible,
Okay,
1% or a minimum of 10,000. So just keep that in mind, it's split deductibles.
so when you say go over these buildings, should I have department heads available? Cause since they may have more,
Maybe collectively,
yeah,
you know, we can go over, you could use this renewal proposal. You know, it itemizes each location, it's got an address. Typically, there's an occupancy or description of what it is.
okay. So just have them review those sections.
I mean, if you have good records of acquisitions of properties, or you know, if you were to sell or demolish a property, I just don't want to not put that out there, because if there has been an acquisition, I don't know about it,
Right,
if not need coverage.
right,
Or if you get rid of something, or, you know, demolish a building, I don't want the town paying insurance premium on
Yeah.
something that doesn't even exist anymore,
correct. Okay,
essentially.
Now, if we remodel one of our buildings, do we have to notify you about that, or?
So all of these buildings are on a replacement cost provision, so that's kind of irrelevant. The only thing that, if you don't expand the size,
Okay.
just interior, no. You were to build add square footage to a building, that's gonna affect potentially how this is written, it's on a blanket. So the total blanketed coverage for all buildings is like around $28 million, something like that. There's a statement of value section to where it shows, here's how we're coming up with that number. We're saying location 1, building 1, the replacement cost is 800,000. That's where they're coming up with that blanket amount. Combined total 26,151,582 is a total blanketed coverages. The good thing about a blanket is it gives leeway for certain building limits. If we're putting a limit on one building only, and that building actually were to take more, then that blanket kicks in. So it just gives a little more flexibility collectively. Okay, so here's the commercial auto. I'm just gonna sample a vehicle here. Yeah, so for example, vehicle number 2 is a 1997 Ford F-250. So there's a VIN number listed. You know, I don't know if that's a waterworks truck, fire department truck. It doesn't go into that much of a explanation. But there's a $2,000 deductible, whether it's comprehensive or collision. Okay. And I believe last year they were 1,000. I think that was one of those conditional notifications that they were increasing deductibles, minimum deductibles on certain types of vehicles.
well, we did have some claims, I think, on those.
And we had the
Honest.
police car accident.
And then
Yeah, like a mirror or something.
The what?
in the fire department,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You know, and Gina and I have I would say a really good relationship.
Yeah.
We email back and forth a lot, and you ask a lot of questions. What if this, what if that, and I do my best to give you my best
Yeah.
um, advice. So, anytime that there's a potential of a loss or something, we kind of talk it out amongst ourselves. But that's another thing. Maybe, take time, look at the vehicle schedule. I mean, make sure that you still own these vehicles. I know we recently added 3 new police Tahoe cruisers last term.
Mhm.
So I know we talked about that. We had gotten limits coverage for all the new golf carts. So they're all scheduled under the inland marine. There's like 600 some $1,000 coverage for 50 golf carts. So we took care of that last year.
Now, if we transfer vehicles, say it's in the police department, and we transfer it to another department, does that change? It's fun, okay,
As long as it's still owned by the town.
okay.
I mean, they're all rated as a local radius. I mean, fire department vehicle is pretty specific. That wouldn't go to, unless it was a retired truck or something. I don't think that really matters. Same with the contractor's equipment on inland marine. We had a lot of equipment listed, mowers,
Mhm.
different types of tools, things like, hey, here's a flexible sewer cleaner.
Mm.
And a value stated with that, if any time that, and I don't know what the process is, the, the street department says, hey, we need to buy a new piece of equipment, I'm sure it has to go through and be approved. That would be, hey, we need to let insurance know that
Yeah.
we just got this, or we got rid of something.
So my understanding of inland marine is it can be used in multiple locations, right?
Right, it's specifically listed, it's scheduled. We've got a description of what it is, a serial number associated with it. That way, yeah, in a roundabout way, it's portable, it's covered, wherever it's at, whatever happens to it. A piece of equipment falls off a trailer while it's in transport. If it's not scheduled, that's not a covered peril. You would have to have a wind loss, a fire loss, a theft. So by scheduling those things, you open up broader coverage for those pieces.
Anything else?
Next, we have the EMC policy with all of those coverages built in. And then we have cyber. We talked about the cyber. The other policy, the workers' comp. And then the other one that's coming up for renewal on August 16th is the accident and sickness policy for the fire department. For the fire, accidental death. Did I share? I think I shared that with you too, Gene, didn't I?
I don't remember.
I'll
seeing
leave
that
this
one.
here. If you want to make copies, but
Okay,
it goes over, the benefits of disability, in the event of an accidental death, one of the firefighters unfortunately dies and putting out a fire, there's a $200,000 benefit.
Mhm.
So think of it kind of like or it's from a Aflac, like a supplemental health insurance type plan. That's what that's for. Line of duty.
so we just need a motion to approve the renewal, no deductible on the cyber. Probably.
I make that motion to approve the renewal.
Becky made the motion to approve the renewal as Gina stated. Do I have a second? I second. Rick seconded, all in favor, all opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
You're welcome. The other thing I will say, is ahead of the the agency and behalf of the employees of the organization. We feel privileged to be able to service your insurance. You know, a lot of us live in the town, work here, so it's nice that we're able to have this partnership. That you're not dealing with some agency in New York City. We do appreciate that and we respect that, so.
We appreciate being able to have a local company too. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion to
Becky
adjourn.
made the motion to adjourn. Second, Rick seconded, all in favor, all opposed, you have. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Is that a hard one, Rick?